حرزنا حرزنا للمنى حبرنا هو الماجد للعلا. الحمد لله أولا وآخرا. أما بعد. Respected audience, today's ayah in the divine prescription is ayah 184 in Surah Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات. فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مساكين. فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له، وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. In our previous lesson, we learned that when a person is healthy and resident, healthy means it's not sick, resident means it's not traveling, he or she must fast. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامِ مَسَاكِينَ. It has more than 10 qira'at in it, 10 modes of recitation. And that's why Imam Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi said, in this ayah, just this segment, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامِ مَسَاكِينَ. There are number of qira'at, there are number of ta'wilat, and there are number of ikhtilafat. And that's why we have madhahib with different schools of thought concerning this ayah. So not to make it harder or make it difficult, here is the meaning of it, briefly. The first meaning of this ayah, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ. Between الَّذِي and يُطِيقُونَهُ you insert la. Someone will say why? Because Quran is a scriptural, divine message from Allah. Not everything that you will see vividly. Number of ayat you have to insert or you have to do taqdirat based on maqtadatuhu sina'atul i'rab or maqtadatuhu sina'atul balagha, based on the rhetorical eloquence of Arabic language. This is how you appreciate the kalam, the speech of Almighty, sublime and exalted be He. So between alladhina and yutiqunahu, you insert la. Let me dissect it for us. You give the amount of food that will suffice someone who is fasting, meaning وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يُطِيقُونَهُ لِمَرَضٍ لَا يُرْجَى بُرْءُهُ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامِ مِسْكِينٍ. The second meaning, dear brothers and dear sisters in faith, Almighty says, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. Meaning, in between yutiqunahu and fidiyatun, you insert the following: وَأَرَادُوا تَرْكَهُ فَعَلَيْهِمْ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامِ مَسَاكِينَ. So the ayah will then read as follows: وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ وَأَرَادُوا تَرْكَهُ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامِ مَسَاكِينَ. Upon those who are able to fast, they are not travelers, they are not sick, they can fast, and they have the ability to fast, but they choose not to. Allah said, upon those, fidyatun ta'amu miskin, means a ransom of feeding poor people each day. Some will say, wow, I didn't know that. That means now if it is difficult for me to fast, I will just feed. No, this was at the beginning of Islam. At the beginning of Islam, Allah gave Muslims and the Sahaba this option. in case you choose not to fast, although you are able to do so, although you are not traveling, although you are not sick, you just choose not to fast, Allah said, in your case, fidiyatun ta'amu miskin, you will have to feed a poor person each day that you break your fast. This understanding, it is abrogated by the ayah that follows, which is ayah 185, where Allah said, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ, whosoever witnesses the month, meaning the month of Ramadan, must fast. And this is what Imam al-Bukhari reported in Al-Jami' with the sanad, linking it to Abdullah ibn Umar and Salamata ibn al-Akwa'. They said this opinion upon those who can fast, but they choose not to, a ransom of feeding a poor person. This was at the beginning. Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala abrogated this hukum and this ruling with the latter ruling, which is in ayah 185. If you witness the month of Ramadan, you must fast except that you are sick, traveling, or you have an excuse that Islam accepts, like someone who is pregnant, like someone who is breastfeeding, or someone who is dealing with a disease for which there is no hope of recovery. Under the teachings of the divine prescription, we obtain and learn the following. 1. Knowing thyself and caring for thy soul. Ramadan, this divine prescription, has allowed you to know yourself and to learn about self and to prepare your soul. So you criticize yourself when thyself is wrong. So you do not wait for any external praise to come to judge, to alter your own thinking on your own thoughts. You're waiting for someone's approval. You're waiting for someone's praise. You're waiting for someone's recognition. That causes your heart to die. That causes your heart to be at distress. That causes distress for your heart. Which of the options that Allah provided will be beneficial to you personally? Not because of what someone is doing, you try to mimic or you try to fit in. The second lesson that the divine prescription reveals to us from this ayah is a genuine concern for others. You have the money, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested you with your own health. That money you could give it to someone to earn reward. When he fasts and breaks his fast, you get the reward. Going through as a diabetic individual, maybe you cannot continue to fast. You have the ability to feed, and then you get the benefit. This divine prescription allows us to appreciate Allah's favor upon us. What Allah has taken from you and given to someone, He has given you something that that person doesn't have. So when you examine that self, you know that there is something that Allah has granted you that someone else doesn't, because you do have something that they also don't. It's just that Satan always causes you to look at those above you, but not those below you. So this is what we learn from Ramadan, the divine prescription of Almighty Subhanahu Jalla fi'ulah. Remain blessed and stay upon the Sunnah and the teaching of Khayri hadhihi al-Ummah. Wassalamu alaikum khitaman wa ibtida.
حبرنا هو الماجد للعلا